Okay, let's see if we can get this going again. After the power outage. I don't know if... Yeah, no, the chat's gone. Sucks. I mean, I had to stop the stream. I don't know why either, but I feel like my webcam is struggling. Like I'm seeing weird artifacting here. Oh, we lost power. We lost power very, very briefly, but it knocked out the net, and that was enough. I still feel like I'm getting weird artifacting with my webcam, and I have no idea why. I mean, does the video for me look fine? Like, I'm seeing, especially on the top here. Yeah, no, it's definitely on the stream as well. Something's wrong with my webcam. That's cool. Hmm. I like how today's the day that my entire everything starts to decide to break. Checking any of these. Well, I don't know why. I mean, it's affecting it on my screen as well. Like it shouldn't be doing that on OBS's end. It should only do that like if it's the wind and slow net, then the artifacting and like the I don't know. It's just I'm getting lag on my end, which is weird. I don't know why my anyway. Well, I didn't stop the game. I did jump ahead through the rest of that conversation because I couldn't stop in the middle of that. So, not sure about that. Yeah, I have no idea why I'm running into this kind of lag right now. Just see if opening. Give me a second. I'm gonna. Boop. I have an intermission screen now. Yeah. Why is it not letting me see the video here? It could be, I guess. Huh. Well, just have to deal with a slightly weird, glitchy me in the corner. The idea is... Oh, I know the pro... Oh, shoot. All right. The idea, hopefully, is that it's not too difficult to deal with or to watch, because I'm a tiny little box in the corner of the screen. What did I just pick up? Okay. She didn't have much to offer. There we go. Relevant passages. What was it? Revelations 13:18. Here is wisdom, let him have that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Interesting.
I see nothing. Nothing to...
As long as the lag isn't on the game, I think we'll be okay. I'm not done. I'm not ready. Nope. Nope.
Well, it's about time. I must
Here we
say,
go.
Here I am with information that will solve your mystery for you, and it's hours before you show up. You are helping that famous detective, or whatever he is, aren't you?
Okay, Karen.
Yes, madam, I have that honor.
I would think you'd be more on your toes. In America, the police would have arrested the culprit by now on my evidence.
In America, the
Then
police
let
would
us
have
proceed
shot the
without
culprit by
delay.
now because of your evidence, Aaron.
May I have your passport, please?
My passport? What do you want my passport for? I'm the witness, not the murderer. What is wrong with you people in this country?
Jesus Christ.
This is Yugoslavia, madam. I am French.
That's what I said.
No,
Your
you didn't.
passport. Thank you. You are Caroline Martha Hubbard of Great Neck, is it? Long Island?
That's what it says, doesn't it?
You are traveling to Paris to meet your daughter?
Yes. Then I'm supposed to sail for home the day after tomorrow. Though, how can I do that stuck here? I'll never know.
Did you hear any sounds coming from Monsieur Ratchet's room?
Well, earlier I'd asked that Swedish lady, Mrs. Olson, if she had anything for a headache. She's a nurse, you know.
Yes, I know.
Poor soul, looking for my room.
Here we
She'd
go.
opened the door to Mr. Ratchet's compartment by mistake. He laughed and said something not very nice, I think. But I couldn't make it out. She said, "Oh, I make a mistake. I ashamed to make a mistake," in that bizarre accent of hers. And he laughed again.
There's
and
the
said something about
xenophobia.
her being too old. The idea. My late husband, Mr. Hubbard, and I enjoyed conjugal relations right up to the very end.
Didn't need to know that.
Anything else?
After that, I heard snoring. Quite loud, like an airplane engine revving up.
What color is your dressing gown?
What an odd question. I have 2 dressing gowns, if you must know. A pink flannel that's kind of cozy on board ship, and a purple silk number that my late husband, Mr. Hubbard, gave me. But what in creation do you want to know that for?
Someone in a scarlet kimono was seen coming out of either your compartment or Monsieur Ratchet's.
She really is like
It's
every
very
single
difficult to
terrible
tell
person.
sometimes which is which when all the doors are closed.
Well, it wasn't mine.
Also, hello,
It
yes.
must have been Monsieur Ratchet's.
That wouldn't surprise me any.
Because
I thought
of
I
you
heard
and
this
Christine, I now have this, Ella. Just saying. I now have conditioned nails. They're still angry, but they're angry and conditioned.
Was it a woman you heard in Monsieur Ratchet's room?
Yes, I think it was.
Did you hear what was said?
Well, I didn't put a glass up to the connecting door and eavesdrop, for heaven's sakes. What sort of a person do you think I am?
The person who would put a glass up to the door and eavesdrop.
When was it you heard this voice?
I have no idea. Sometime after the snoring died.
Was it before or after the train stopped?
After the man in my room that you have so far failed to ask me about. I woke up, heard the voice, and that was that.
Tell me about the man you thought was in your room.
At last. No offense intended, sweetie, but you foreigners do just about everything backwards.
Yep, because we don't think you're the most important people on the planet.
All in the dark it was. And I knew, I tell you, that there was a man in there with me.
In your bed?
In my what? How dare you? No, in my compartment. I was just so scared I couldn't scream. I just lay there and thought, mercy, I'm gonna be killed by some foreigner. These nasty trains. I just lay there with my eyes closed and thought of America.
Just
Somehow
thought
I
of America.
and I felt about with my hand and I felt.
Yes?
The bell button. I pressed it and pressed, but no one came. I thought, mercy, what if they'd murdered every single soul on the train? I went on pressing the bell, and at last, footsteps in the corridor. I dragged on my dressing gown, the pink one. I screamed, come in, and switched on the lights, and would you believe it? There wasn't a soul there.
Michel opened your door and entered.
Yes, although considering the time it took him to arrive, he must have come by dog sled. He seemed to imagine I dreamt the whole thing. I tell you here and now, I'm not one to imagine things.
Sounds like you might be, though.
Michel searched your compartment?
Yes, even under the chair. Although he said there wasn't room for a man to squeeze himself under there. I asked him to check the connecting door.
Was it bolted?
No, but I knew it had been because I asked the Swedish lady to check it when she brought me the headache powder.
Before Michel arrived, did either door open and close?
Sweetie, my eyes were squeezed shut tighter than a banker's fist. I didn't see. And with the bell making all that racket, the intruder could have dynamited a hole in the wall, and I wouldn't have heard it.
Do you remember the Armstrong kidnapping?
I'll say I do. How that wretch that did it escaped scot-free, I'll never understand. I'd have liked to get my hands on him.
You could have, madam, when the connecting door was unbolted.
You mean Ratchet was the man?
Yes, his real name was Cassetti.
Well, imagine that. Wait till I tell my daughter.
Were you acquainted with the Armstrong family?
Well, they were from New York, too. But no, they moved in a very exclusive circle. I've always heard that Mrs. Armstrong was a perfectly lovely woman, and that her husband worshipped her. It was all incredibly sad.
I would like to dust the doorknob of the connecting door for fingerprints.
My, aren't you the little improviser? Be my guest, sweetie. Search the whole place if you'd like. I need a drink.
Mrs. Hubbard, wait. You dropped this.
That's not mine.
I thought as it has the initial H on it.
I've got mine right here. See? It's marked CMH, and it's a sensible thing, not that flimsy, expensive Parisian cambric. What good is a hanky you can't sneeze into?
God, I hate. Ugh.
I can't see anything of interest.
It has. There is
Nothing else to
differences. You'll find out. You'll see.
I've already... Better to let...
How do I dust fingerprints? That's my... Have the coal dust. Have the cellophane tape. I have paper napkins that can be made into, like, cards. But I need a brush. I don't seem to have one of those yet.
Nothing of interest here. I can't...
Wow, that's boring. And unfortunate. Moving on.
Nothing of interest here.
Also nothing.
I can't see...
Also nothing. Wow, the agenus are boring.
Nothing else to see in there. I've already...
We searched it already? Okay. Interesting and weird.
The bracelet is worthless, Mademoiselle. It is copper only. I bought it outside the train station in Istanbul. For my arthritis. Take it if you like.
I'm very sorry, Your Highness. I realize how this must look, but I'm only doing the job assigned me. I promise I'll return.
I know it looks like I'm stealing it from you, but...
Ah, then I expect you would like to interrogate me. I believe that is the correct term.
If I may...
But of course, I am suspect just as anyone in the galley coach must be.
Finally,
I
a
am
sensible
ready
fucking
for
person.
the 3rd degree.
I am ready for the 3rd degree. Alright, princess, let's go!
I have borrowed your passport, Your Highness.
I noticed that as well.
Natalia Dragomirov, 17 Avenue Clay.
So if she lives in Paris,
You are traveling home from Istanbul.
why does her
madame?
maid live in St. Petersburg?
I have been staying at the Austrian embassy. My maid is with me, as you saw in the marketplace.
And then furthermore, why would the maid have an address of St. Petersburg after the Russian Revolution when she's from Germany? There's the mistake that I'm confused about.
Could you give me a brief account of your movements last evening?
Nothing could be simpler. After dinner, Schmidt, my maid, read to me. We were interrupted by the train stopping to avoid the avalanche. Then she read aloud to me some more, till quite late.
Can you give me an idea of the time?
If I were to guess, I would say it was 1:30.
Has your maid been with you long?
15 years.
Do you consider her trustworthy?
Absolutely. Her people come from an estate of my late husband's in Germany.
Forgive the personal nature of this question, madame, but what is the color of your dressing gown?
My dressing gown? It is of blue satin.
You have been in America, I presume, madame?
Many times.
Were you acquainted with a family by the name of Armstrong?
You speak of friends of mine, Mademoiselle. Sonia Armstrong was my goddaughter.
Ah.
I was on terms of friendship with her mother, Linda Arden, one of the greatest tragic actresses in the world. As Lady Macbeth, as Nora in A Doll's House, there was no one to touch her. I was not only an admirer of her art, I was a personal friend.
Is Linda Arden dead?
No, she is alive. It is a sort of life. She lives in complete retirement. Her health is very delicate. She must lie on a sofa most of the time.
Mrs. Armstrong had a sister, did she not?
Yes, much younger than Mrs. Armstrong.
And she is alive?
Certainly.
Where is she?
I must ask the reason of these questions. What have they to do with the murder on this train?
Well...
The dead man was responsible for the kidnapping and death of Mrs. Armstrong's child.
Ah. In my view, then, this murder is an entirely admirable occurrence. You will pardon my slightly biased point of view.
It is most natural, madame.
I mean, she's open about her bias, which is more than
Where
anyone
is the
else
younger
can be
daughter
said.
of Linda Arden, the sister of Mrs. Armstrong?
I've lost touch with the younger generation. I believe she married an Englishman some years ago, but at the moment I cannot recollect the name. Mademoiselle, you will forgive me, but the one you assist, he who guides the investigation, no one has told me his name.
He is Hercule Poirot, madame.
Poirot. Of course. I thought his face was somehow familiar to me. Poirot on this train. It is destiny.
Interesting comments. It is a destiny, is it not? Give me a hot second. Right. Okay. Yeah, we're going through the connecting door, I guess.
Nothing else to...
Who knows whose room we're in?
Colonel Arbuthnot, I do not believe we've been properly introduced.
I expect the formalities must be winked at in a case like this, Mademoiselle. The attendant told me you are acting on the Frog Detective's behalf.
I am the Frog, monsieur. Hercule Poirot is Belgian.
Whoop!
Apologies, no offense meant. Your accent's a bit of mid-channel, difficult to pick up.
May I have your passport, please?
Of course.
Colonel Francis Gordon Arbuthnot, the Mews, Cheltenham, Royal Northumberland Fusiliers, currently stationed in India.
Yes, on leave.
But you're not traveling on the P&O boat? Why not?
I stopped in Baghdad with the AOC, who happens to be a good friend of mine.
Where did you meet Mademoiselle Debenham?
Miss Debenham? What, in Baghdad, if you must know.
And your opinion of her?
You can
Do
take
you
it from me, she's
like
all
her?
right. A Puka Sahib.
Do you like her?
Can you give me an account of your movements last night?
Yes, I think I can. After dinner, I had a drink in the salon car with young McQueen, the dead man's secretary. Surprisingly knowledgeable about world affairs for an American, even if he had goblin
Yeah, yeah.
We adjourned to his compartment.
So he's a good friend of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez?
9 p.m. You saw us in the Belgrade station courtyard. We stepped out for a bit of fresh air, but with the weather turning foul, that wasn't on.
What do you and Monsieur McQueen smoke?
McQueen doesn't, now that I think of it. A pipe's my weapon of choice.
What happened after Belgrade?
Around 2200, that's 10 p.m. Ratchet's valet came to fetch him for his employer. He went off for a while.
And what did you do after Monsieur McQueen left you?
Well, I went back to the salon car for a nightcap, didn't I? I was heading to my compartment when I ran into McQueen. Went off back to his room again to continue the natter. I put him straight on India. Learned a bit about the American stock market. Bloody fool's game, if you ask me.
I mean...
Oh, pardon my... that is to say, my language.
Pardon my French? Were you just about to say pardon my French?
Now I can hear the accent. It comes and goes.
What time did your discussion of world affairs end?
America Online. I'm a very good friend of America Online's. You've got mail.
Called the attendant to make up his bed. I came back here.
Did anyone pass Monsieur McQueen's room while you were talking?
A good many people, I should think. I wasn't paying attention.
I bang my head on my keyboard every day. Totally get it. Totally get it.
So you wandering about.
Let us say during the last hour of your conversation.
Really, I can't.
Colonel, you have the soldier's observation for detail.
Hang on. There was a woman, I think.
Was this woman young or old?
Didn't see her. Wasn't looking that way. Just a rustle and a scent.
Mademoiselle Debenham?
No, I'd recognize. That is to say, it wasn't. No, it was very strong. Fruit or something.
Can you pinpoint the time the woman passed? What were you discussing?
Let's see, I was detailing the other washout. Stalin's 5-year plan was turning out. It must have been within the last half hour. More definite than that, I can't say.
Have you ever been in
I like how when you
America?
get to what you think is the end of the conversation tree, and then it gives you like 4 more
Did
questions, and
you
you're
ever
like,
know
oh,
a Colonel
come on.
Armstrong?
Armstrong. I've known 2 or 3 Armstrongs. Selby Armstrong. He was killed on the Somme.
I mean the Colonel Armstrong who married an American woman and whose only child was kidnapped and murdered.
Ah, yes. I remember reading about that. Shocking affair. Never actually came across the fellow, but his name came up in the officer's mess, of course. Toby Armstrong. Nice fellow. Everybody liked him. Distinguished career, got the VC, Victoria Cross.
The man who was killed last night was the man responsible for the murder of Colonel Armstrong's child.
Then in my opinion, the swine got what he deserved. Though I would have preferred to see him properly hanged, or electrocuted, or whatever it is they do over there. Trial by 12 good men and true. Sound system.
Anything you can recall from last night that strikes you as suspicious?
There was one odd thing.
Yes.
As I got back to my compartment, I noticed that the door of the one beyond mine, number 16, it wasn't quite closed. The chap inside peered out in a rather furtive sort of way, then quickly pulled the door. Probably nothing in it, but you know what it is. Early hours of the morning, everything very still. The thing had a sinister look, like a detective story.
Thank you, Colonel
Funny enough, you're in one.
So, now, if you don't mind, I think I'll pop along to the salon car.
Don't let me keep you.
You mean to say you intend to stay in my compartment?
Yes.
And search through my belongings?
I'm sorry, but I really must.
But that's... I mean, it just isn't. That's bloody irregular. Pardon my French.
But you're not going to say any more about it because...
I've already... I can't see any...
Except there's nothing more to see in your compartment, because you're boring.
I've already... Nothing to see.
Yeah, boring. Oops. Wait. nothing to see in here, I guess. Moving on.
Please give me the key to the Athens-Paris coach.
Here is mine. Keep it as long as you like.
Where is the key to the security room in the baggage car?
Mademoiselle, that key is kept only by the station masters.
That will be all, Pierre.
I already looked through all of here, but I feel like I'm just gonna...
The door to the Athens-Paris coach is locked.
Well, can we unlock it with the key that you just had? Yeah, cinematic. Okay.
The key worked.
Of course, the key worked! Did you think it wouldn't? I mean... Pretty sure we've already done all this, so there's not much to see here. But, like, gonna go through it anyway.
Nothing to see.
Apparently we need to because... I thought I already got that from everybody here.
Nothing of it. Nothing to...
I don't know why this one has a different view. Can I open this? How very odd.
I wouldn't want to...
Walk over there.
I've already...
No.
I'll take that key, Mr. Hardman. If you don't give it to me, I can have a couple of the train's staff take it from you.
What the fuck are you doing
I'd like
here?
to see them try.
Would you really?
No idea what's happening right now.
Pierre Michel's passport and an old photograph. I'll just borrow both of them. Nothing else. What were you doing going through Michel's belongings?
Your job?
You know I am assisting Monsieur Poirot.
Sure. Begin the interrogation.
What is your profession?
I'm a salesman. Typewriting ribbons.
Do you always travel first class, Monsieur Hartman?
Sure. The firm pays my traveling expenses.
Where is your destination?
Paris.
And from there?
New York.
What can you tell me about the murder?
Nothing at all.
That is a pity. What were you doing outside Monsieur Ratchet's window?
Okay, there were footprints there. Man's shoe, but not a large one. Size 7, maybe. I followed the tracks, then it looked like whoever made them put on some snowshoes and headed out over that deep snow near the back of the train.
Perhaps, Monsieur Hartman, you could tell me why I found a blackjack, or sap as I believe it's called, in your suitcase?
How do you know what it's called?
Crime is a hobby of mine.
Yeah? Well, why don't you try knitting instead?
Why don't you
You
try
people are
getting rid of your
serious about this
sexism instead?
investigation, aren't you?
Of course. You have heard of
Someone
Monsieur
fucking
Poirot.
died? Yeah, we're serious about this.
Yeah, I have. I think I better come clean, or I could find myself in a lot of hot water here.
What do you
I would
think?
advise you to come clean.
Okay, I don't know anything, like I said. But I ought to know something. That's what makes me sore. I ought to. My passport's a bit of a bluff. That's who I really am.
Please explain.
I showed up at the appointed time. Ratchet put me wise to the situation.
The threatening letters.
Yeah, he showed me 2 of them.
Did Monsieur Ratchet seem alarmed by the letters?
Pretended not to be, but he was rattled all right.
What instructions did he give you?
I was to travel by the same train he did to Paris and see that nobody got him. That's the thing. I did travel by the same train, and in spite of me, somebody did get him. I feel sore about that. Doesn't look any too good for me.
Did he have any idea who the letters were from?
Well, Ratchet described him to me.
What?
Sure. Said he was a small man, dark, with a kind of womanish voice.
Did Monsieur Ratchet not tell you the man's name?
Nope.
Ratchet was Cassetti, the Armstrong murderer.
No kidding. Should have recognized him. I mean, I suppose I saw photos of him in the papers and everything. Well, that explains it. Cassetti made a lot of enemies in the American underworld. He often skipped when the heat was on, leaving his partners in crime to face the music. Some assassin finally caught up with him. Say, I've really fallen down on this thing. And with a famous detective like Mr. Poirot on the case, too. This won't do my rep any good with my boss, Mr. McNeil, if it gets back to him.
I'm in the same predicament, Monsieur Hartman, believe me.
You are? Well, that's good. I mean, bad for you, but... Say, listen. If we could keep the mess I've made out of this thing between ourselves...
I must tell Monsieur Poirot everything.
Oh, sure, sure. I'll have to swallow my professional pride there, but if we can keep it on this side of the Atlantic, maybe, I'd really appreciate it.
I'll see what I can do.
I'm tired of these people.
Do you know anyone connected with the Armstrong case who matches the description Monsieur Ratchet gave you?
Well, that's hard to say. They're mostly dead, aren't they?
Yes. Mrs. Armstrong, Colonel Armstrong, the nursemaid who threw herself out a window.
I remember now. The nursemaid was suspected. She killed herself even though she was eventually cleared.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. Snow is very bright. So, yeah, that nursemaid was a foreigner, I think. Maybe she had some foreign relations or something. But that wasn't the first time Cassetti had run that kidnapping stunt. I bet there are lots of people had it in for him.
Please tell me your movements after dinner last night.
I played some cards with that Italian guy at the front on the coach. Then when people started turning in, I went back to my room. Stayed up all night. Had my door a bit ajar so I could keep watch. But nobody could see me. You get it?
Except someone did see you.
Yes.
Because you're bad at your job.
Could you see the attendant from that position?
Sure. He sits on that little seat right past my room.
Can you describe his movements?
Let's see. He answered a couple of bells after the snow stopped us. Went back into the rear coach for 10 minutes or so. Then there was a bell ringing like mad, and he came running back. I got a bit nervous over that, but it was just that talkative American dame raising hell about something or other. Bit later, he headed off to make somebody's bed up. Then he settled in.
Did you see anyone moving up and down the passage?
Nope.
Is there anyone on the train who can confirm your identity?
My credentials are taped to the bottom of the table in my compartment along with my real passport. I'm sure you can find them.
Do you smoke, Monsieur Hartman?
Sure. I've got some cigarettes in my room. Come on by this evening after things quiet down. I can be far more entertaining than that mouse of a woman in your room.
I
No,
will
thank you.
pass.
That will do for now, Monsieur Hartman. I can't see...
Okay. That was an interesting thing that happened. Yeah, he's just all these terrible people.
I've already...
Ugh.
I can't see... I don't think...
He is angry. This feels important somehow.
I see nothing.
I wonder why that room I can look at the bed, but the other ones I can't. Have to figure this out sooner rather than later too.
Do you have a plan to the Athens-Paris coach?
Si, señorita.
Which rooms are occupied in this car?
The Greek doctor is the only passenger. He is in room 13. I have taken room 15 there to sleep in, and room 16 for my equipment. I hope it is all right. Pierre Michel is using room 11, the chef de cuisine is in 9, Lucien the waiter is in 1-2, the engineer is resting in 10 when not attending to the boiler, the fireman rests in 3-4.
What equipment?
I am a ham radio operator. Usually I carry the equipment in the baggage car. There is no time to use it when I'm on duty. And anyway, no power. But when we were stopped so suddenly, I thought to check it and found my telegraph key destroyed. I don't understand it. It was packed carefully. I brought the rest here to my room to keep it safe.
Did anyone pass between this car and the Calais coach last night?
Only Pierre. He came through and we talked for a few minutes about the snow and what it will do to the schedule.
When was this?
Sometime after 1 a.m. A few minutes only. We talked for 10 minutes or so. Then Michel fancied he heard a bell. He opened the doors between the two coaches and we both heard it plainly. A bell, ringing repeatedly. Michel ran to answer it.
You boarded the train in Belgrade?
Si, señorita.
Why were you so late? Your passenger must have boarded by himself, and you yourself almost missed the train.
But this is not so. I was preparing my car as it was being attached. I myself welcomed the Greek doctor and showed him to compartment 13.
That will be enough.
Okay, well, we gotta go do some things in other parts of the thingy.
This seems...
Do not disturb me. I do not have enough vinegar or olive oil for the Count and Countess. I will be shamed.
How rude.
Surprising no one. How rude. Alright, let's see if we can find him some fucking vinegar and olive oil.
It's the cargo manifest. It shows that 3 casks were loaded in Belgrade. 1 of olive oil, 1 of honey, and 1 of vinegar. It also mentions a special security package that was loaded in Istanbul.
There's a whole fucking cask of this shit.
Salonika olive.
Alright, do we just like use the glasses, I guess?
Mille pardon, mademoiselle.
Why will it not?
A keg of white wine vinegar.
Oh, wait, this is... Okay.
The spout fits perfectly. The valve prevents it from pouring until turned.
That's weird, but we'll go with it.
This spout fits just as... I filled the tumbler with...
There we go.
With... I can't take that now. All of... I have the olive oil and vinegar you need for tonight's meal.
Let me see them. Yeah, this olive oil is fresh enough and of sufficient quality. The quality of this vinegar will have to do, but there is not nearly enough. Tell me at once where you found it.
In the baggage car.
There must be far more vinegar for the authentic Erdapfel salad. I will get it myself.
Go have fun, sweetie. You do you.
Splendid.
Splendid. He's no longer in here.
Loaves of bread. They smell lovely.
I'll take that.
I'd better close this.
Just gonna take
I
that.
believe they are sacks of flour, good for thickening sauces. And judging by last night's sauce, Klaus will get through both sacks before the trip is through. Such a cramped kitchen. I can't imagine how Klaus puts up with it. Such a cramped...
Taking that too. He might be in the middle of making it, but...
An empty bottle of olive oil, and one that looks like it contained vinegar.
Okay. Ta-da.
These menu cards are perfect for collecting fingerprints.
Perfect.
Sterling...
More things to
Very
steal.
appetizing and...
What even am I taking at this point? I've got a butter knife and a bowl full of cake batter, a meat cleaver. Why do I have a cake batter thing? What was the big cut-off that I just took? Orange juice. Sure. Why did I take that? It was there. I mean, if it's there, just do it, right? That's how this works. Alright, well.
I'm sorry to disturb you.
Not at all. As you can see, I'm not exactly occupied at the moment. And I do know you're helping that funny little Belgian detective. What can I do for you?
Your full name, permanent address, and age, please.
Mary Hermione Debenham. 32. I'm between permanent addresses at the moment.
What can you tell me of the murder last night?
I'm afraid I have nothing to tell you. I went to bed and slept.
You seem very at ease. Are you not distressed by what has happened?
Distressed? I have not really thought about it from that point of view. No, I cannot say that I am at all distressed. After all, people die every day.
They die, yes, but murder is thankfully a little more rare.
Very
Were you acquainted with
dark
Monsieur Ratchet?
outlook.
I saw him for the first time at dinner last night. Oh, I suppose at the station, perhaps. I don't recall.
How did he strike you?
I hardly noticed him.
He did not strike you as an evil personality?
Really, I cannot say I thought about it. Whether or not I liked Mr. Ratchet's face does not seem to be helpful in finding out who killed him.
Got a point.
I'd like to take
I didn't
your
like his face, but that's not going to help
How
you
very
at all.
enterprising of you. How do we proceed?
I have some typewriter ribbon.
Splendid. This is all rather exciting.
Boop.
Do you know who Monsieur Ratchet really was?
Haven't a clue. Who was he?
Cassetti, the man behind the Armstrong kidnapping.
That was quite abominable.
Where did you
I thought
begin
we were
your
done.
journey?
Baghdad.
What were you doing there?
Been acting as governess to 2 children.
What is your final destination?
London. I'm giving up on Baghdad. Not much happens there.
You know what's kind of nice and what I'm
hoping
looking
find a
forward to
suitable post
tonight?
in London.
Sleeping in my bed. I know that sounds a little, you know, simple, straightforward, and I've been sleeping in my bed for the last couple of months. But I changed my sheets
What
today.
can
I
you
did
tell
my
me
sheets. They're
about
fresh,
Mademoiselle Schmidt?
right out of
She's a
the
nearly perfect
laundry.
traveling companion.
Something
Quiet,
nice about
polite,
having fresh
thinks
changed
the world of her
sheets.
princess.
What is the color of her dressing gown?
Her dressing gown. It's dark blue.
It is
Flat.
such a good feeling, especially when it's all perfectly made and you slide in for the first time. You're like, ooh, it's cozy.
Did Mademoiselle Schmidt leave your compartment at any time during the night?
She was with the princess, reading, I believe, until quite late. I awoke when she returned. I remember thinking she was not paid enough for such long hours and checked my watch. It was 12:38.
How well do you know Colonel Arbuthnot?
Do you like him?
And I'll not answer it.
That is you saying yes. All right. Moving on.
Countess, may I ask you some questions regarding the death of Monsieur Ratchet?
I'm not sure what I can do to help, but I'll try.
Have you been to America?
No, Mademoiselle. My husband was posted there. Diplomatic duties. But we were not married then.
What is the color of your dressing gown?
Why do you ask me that?
Detectives have to ask all sorts of questions. Forgive me.
It is yellow. Corn-colored chiffon. Are you really a detective, Mademoiselle? I was told you worked for the railway.
Well, I'm assisting a detective. That's what I meant.
Is he a Yugoslavian detective?
No.
I think he would tell you he belongs to the world, madame. May I take your fingerprints?
Yes.
All right.
When did you fall asleep last night?
Soon after 1 o'clock, I believe.
Did you hear or see?
See, that was the last question.
Evening?
When she finishes answering, there's going to be another 5 questions to do.
No, I don't think so.
You didn't hear Mrs. Hubbard ringing her bell and calling out at around 1:15?
No, it would be very unlikely if I did. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Countess.
No, okay, I take it back.
Count
That was it.
Andrigny, I am acting on behalf of Monsieur Hercule Poirot in this matter. May I speak with you?
I quite understand your position. I will do anything I can to assist you.
May I have your passport, please?
Yes, certainly.
Rudolph Joseph Andrigny, aged 34.
Kind of odd that both of them are on one passport.
Yes, I am in the Hungarian consular service.
Wife, Elena Maria Andrigny, aged 20?
Yes, we have only been married a year.
Aged 20, thank you. Are you aware of the identity of the deceased, monsieur?
If you want to know his name, surely it is in his passport.
The name on his passport is Ratchet. That is not.
She did marry young, yeah.
He is in
She's a
fact
full
Rossetti,
freaking
who was
7+
responsible for the
years younger
kidnapping
than
and
me.
death of a child
Or
in
an 8
America.
and a month.
That certainly should throw light on the matter.
Already married to a freaking count.
Have you been to America, Monsieur Lecoq?
I'm over here being like,
Yes,
I don't even have a
I was in
boyfriend.
Washington for a year. Extraordinary country.
Missed my chance
Did you
to
know the Armstrong family?
The
get in with my
Yes.
what's the word I'm looking for?
Armstrong. It is difficult to recall. So many diplomatic.
Rich sugar daddy. That's what I wanted.
Many hands to shake. I cannot recall. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, when I was 19 years old, I was still in school.
Can you tell me how
and
you
telling
spent
people
the
that
evening
I
after dinner
was
last night?
asexual, so they would leave me
While
alone.
we were at dinner.
That was
On
pretty much it.
returning, We sat up in mine playing croquet.
It was literally at that point where you could not tell people I'm not interested in dating right now because they wouldn't believe you. So I had to tell them and lie to them that I was ace so that they would leave me alone.
Whatever you need to do, I will be happy to.
Part of that was also denial, but denial, not quite. I don't know. It was
The
weird.
sudden stop of the train awakened you?
Naturally. I
Undergrad was a
learned the
weird
extent of
time.
The avalanche, then went into my wife and comforted her.
When did you return to your own compartment?
Not just a river in Egypt, indeed.
That is to say, I did not like to leave my wife alone after the shock. We passed the remainder of the night together.
And of course, that was also back before I knew that asexual is not necessarily a romantic.
Other than the train stopping, did you notice anything unusual?
No, I don't think so.
Of course,
dropped off to sleep
also back
sometime
then it was
before
like
2
there's
a.m. and slept through
what,
until this
5
morning.
sexualities. It's like
You didn't
straight,
hear
bi,
the
gay,
commotion
lesbian,
in the compartment next to yours? The American lady
and
who occupies it had quite an attack of
ace.
hysterics
Did I
and
say
rang
that?
repeatedly
Straight,
for the attendant.
bi, yeah,
When
5.
was this?
I know how to count.
Approximately 1:15.
No, I'm afraid I didn't notice.
Do you smoke, Monsieur Lecomte?
The occasional cigar only. They are always offered to me, you understand, but I do not much like them.
Au revoir, Monsieur Lecomte.
So much has changed since then. Did I get his? Oh yeah, I got his. Okay. Moving on. Oh yay. Everybody's
Have you enjoyed
favorite.
rummaging around in my room?
I would like to fingerprint you.
What do you have there? A typewriter ribbon? You're gonna smear ink from that on my fingers?
That was my intention.
And how do you plan to clean that mess off afterwards?
I have something to clean your hands with.
Cocktail napkins? Good gracious, sweetie. What kind of fleabag investigation are you conducting here anyway?
The kind that we conduct when we're trapped on a train in the middle of the Yugoslavian wilderness, you bitch. That's the kind of roughshod thing we're doing.
Madame Hubbard.
Fucking hate her. I know she's meant to be hated, but still. Also, I'm taking this bowl. Just straight up taking it. Also taking this ice, apparently. She's so annoying. I just can't deal with her. Hey, what are you doing? Go back over there and take that cocktail shake. No? Okay.
Oui, mademoiselle. You will find it in room 1-2 in the Athens-Paris coach.
What is that? I assumed that he was talking about
Your movements after
his
dinner.
passport.
I came in here to attend to the bar after everyone went to their homes. I cleaned the salon car and went to the Athens-Paris coach to rest.
What time was that?
I closed the bar at midnight, so it would be a few minutes after that.
Did you see or hear anything unusual last night?
No, mademoiselle. The Athens-Paris coach was very quiet. And of course, the door leading to the Calais coach is locked. One can pass through only if Pierre Michel or Matteo opens it for him.
What do you know of Klaus, the chef?
An artiste de la cuisine, and just as temperamental as a painter. Vous comprenez? No one is allowed to enter his kitchen.
Too late,
His
already went
menu
in.
seems to overemphasize meat dishes.
Meat,
It
meat,
is
meat,
true
meat,
that
meat.
they call him Le Boucher, but not to his face, of course.
Well, that's what you get when you have a
It
German
suits him. I would like to take your
cook.
fingerprints.
I mean,
I see. Very well then.
boop.
Klaus seems even more temperamental than usual today.
I fear an approaching catastrophe, mademoiselle.
Worse than avalanches and murder.
Certainement. Special dinner menus, as you no doubt know, are printed in advance of our departure in Istanbul. Here is tonight's menu. As you can see, tonight is to serve Wiener Schnitzel and Eldafe Salat, native dishes of Austria, in honor of the Count and Countess Andrani.
Veal and potatoes. Why does this not
But-
surprise me?
But so many have asked for the salads, almost in the
Ah.
hands of Chef Klaus, and the porters have failed to put aboard enough vinegar and olive oil for the Eldafe Salat. Klaus is in a rage.
Well,
the
I already solved
embarrassment will
this.
be too much for him.
What do you know of Klaus's movements last night?
As usual, he stayed in his precious kitchen, preparing his pastries and sauces for the next day's meals. He passed through the salon car a few minutes before midnight in a rage because one of the steak knives is missing.
Well,
Passengers
I
will take
just
anything as a
took
souvenir if it is not bolted down.
a knife as well.
Why,
He's gonna
the
come after me,
missing
isn't
on
he?
this trip would astound you.
But perhaps they were not all taken as souvenirs. Perhaps some person, in order to do good, borrowed them?
Like
Mademoiselle,
me.
forgive me, but I do not understand what you are talking about.
Let it pass.
We're
What did Klaus do?
not going to talk about my
entered the
kleptomania.
salon
Just
car?
Nothing. We went together to the Athens-Paris coach.
Do you know Monsieur Ratchet was killed with a knife?
I had heard this.
what have you got there? A knife!
Klaus may have
No!
A chef that temperamental? If someone was to criticize his masterpieces?
Mais non, mademoiselle. C'est très absurd. Klaus would not stab anyone. Not with a knife. He would hack them into little medallions with his cleaver.
Good day, monsieur.
He's not wrong. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna see if I can talk to Klaus. He's not in here.
I would like to fingerprint you.
Ugh, fine. Do as you must.
Okay, that was all I needed. That's it. Back to the salon car.
Monsieur Foscarelli.
Ah, signorina.
I think
I
he's
have
the
been
last
told you
one
aid the
that we
great
have to do a
Hercule
big,
Poirot
long
in his investigations. I will help you in
interrogation
any way
for.
I can.
May I have your passport, please?
Of course, of course. Here you are.
You are Antonio Foscarelli. I see here you are a naturalized American citizen.
Yes, signorina. It is better for my business. I am, as you can see, a salesman of motor cars. I do big business.
Do you have a car on you?
I
The answer is
understand
no. I
salesmanship.
can't see that you sell cars.
What do you smoke? A pipe, cigarettes, cigars?
Cigarettes only.
I would like to take your fingerprints.
Of course, of course. Anything to help.
Thank you. You travel frequently to and from the United States?
Oh, no
Yes,
shit,
for
he
the
lives
past
there.
10 years or so.
Did you ever come across Monsieur Ratchet?
Never, but I know the type. Oh, yes. It is very respectable, very well dressed, but underneath it is all wrong. I should say he was a big crook. I give you my opinion for what it is worth.
Well,
Your opinion is quite right. Monsieur Ratchet was Cassetti, the kidnapper.
every time she
What did I
says that,
tell
there's like a
you?
little hint of venom in her
Learn to
voice,
read
and I'm
the
gonna be like,
face. It is
temper
necessary.
it a little. You're
Only in
investigating his
America do they
murder.
teach you the proper way to sell.
Please tell me your movements last night after dinner.
With pleasure. I stay here in the salon car for a while. It is more amusing. I play cards with the American gentleman who sells the typewriter ribbons. We talk shop. Afterwards, we retire to my compartment and play the cards some more. And talk more shop. That one, though, he is not the salesman Foscarelli is, I can tell you.
Do you remember the Armstrong case?
I do not quite remember, but yes. The name, it was a little girl, was it not? A baby, una bambina.
Yes.
Ah, well.
Any particular
They
reason he
seem
had to
they
say
have
like
many,
young
even in a great
child
country like
variations 3 times in a row? It was a little girl, a baby, a baby. Yes. I understood you the first time when you said little girl in English, and I didn't need you to say it in either Italian or repeat pretty much exactly what you said.
Have you ever come across any members of the Armstrong family?
It is difficult to say. I see so many people, you understand. I'll give you some figures. Last year alone, I
Don't
saw...
need the sales pitch, buddy.
Please, monsieur, confine yourself to the point.
Bitch,
With
shut
great
up.
pleasure.
What time did you go to your compartment?
Oh, it was early. 8:30 or so.
What time did you stop playing cards in your room?
Not yet 10 o'clock. That stuffed shirt of a valet who shares the compartment with me came back from attending his
Did
master.
I talk to him already?
Miserable people, the English. Not sympathetic.
You.
He sits in the corner, very stiff, reading a book. Mr. Hardman and I, we lose our taste for the cards, and Mr. Hardman, he goes off to his own room. The attendant makes up our beds.
What time did you go to bed?
I lay on my bunk for a while. The Englishman has, I think, the toothache. He gets out a little bottle of stuff that smells very strong. He moans and groans. I drop off around 10:30. Whenever I wake, I hear him groaning.
Do you know if Monsieur Masterman left the room at all during the night?
I do not think so. If the door opened, the light from the corridor, one wakes up automatically thinking it is the customs examination at some frontier.
Did Monsieur Masterman ever speak of his master?
I tell you, he did not speak, even to introduce himself. He was not a sympathetic, a fish.
Good day, monsieur.
A fish. He was a fish. Now it's a new one, not gonna lie.
See here, what do you think you're playing at?
I will take your fingerprints now.
Will you, by Jove? Well, get on with it then.
Either people are excited about this, or they're like
Thank you,
confused
Colonel.
as to why you're doing it, and you're like, well, you know how... Do you not get investigations? Like, do you know how these work? Not that hard.
Before I go, there was something else. I'd like to take your fingerprints.
That's a rather messy procedure, isn't it? Do you have something I might wipe my hands on afterwards?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do know
Napkins?
Lenores.
A wet cloth was beyond your capabilities? Well, I suppose they will have to do.
There is a bathroom and a sink directly next to you. You may use that if you so choose.
That will be all.
Lord.
Thank you.
Literally, there's a bathroom right here.
Nothing to see. I can't see... A good idea. I won't find... Oh, another thing. I would like to take your fingerprints.
Would you really? Say, that's swell. I mean, of course you can.
Good day to you, monsieur. Before I go, there was something else. I would like to fingerprint you, if you must.
Reluctant acceptance.
That will do for now, Mademoiselle.
Oh, the Germans are so good.
A good idea. Something has occurred to me since I left you. I would like to fingerprint you.
But of what am I accused?
Nothing, it's only formality.
Oh, I am sorry. Please fingerprint me.
What am I being accused of? Oh, okay. Fingerprint me, baby.
Mademoiselle.
Fingerprint me, baby. Oh. This is the most exciting part of the game. Not going to Poirot's room.
The body.
Can I get like...
Formidable.
Turkey baster filled with coal dust. Alright, what do we do first?
Formidable.
I obtained a clear print and have filed it.
Shablam, baby. Okay, what next? Like a Mirov's locket.
This doesn't seem to work.
Yet. Alright, what else we got? Pocket watch me.
I can't get them to fit.
Or not. You don't need them to fit, you just need them to... Okay. Alright, the gun, well...
Something is wrong.
Nope. Button. button. Who's got the button?
This doesn't seem...
Nope. Excuse me. Okay, I guess that's it. I'm confused. Didn't I say that I was going to get the... Ah, there we go. Okay.
It has a fingerprint on it. I obtained a clear print and a fine.
There we go.
I'm sorry. I don't think I'm quite done yet. I regret to tell you that I must take your fingerprints.
Dear me. With typewriting ribbon? Have you something I may clean my hands with afterwards?
I have some paper napkins.
Thank you, Mademoiselle. Those should suit admirably.
She was straight up happy about it. She's like, oh, wow. You thought of everything. Thank you so much. All right. I mean, wasn't that big of a deal, but you're welcome. All right, Monsieur Hard Man. Let's get your real shit. There it is.
I'll put this into my scrapbook so I can take a closer look at it later.
Private investigator. Good job investigating. McNeil Detective Agency. Alright. Are they actually like a thing? I don't know if that's like real. Oh, that's it. Okay.
I found this button from your tunic in the American lady's compartment.
I have lost no button, mademoiselle. There must be some mistake.
Then perhaps it was dropped by the man she said was in her room.
There was no one there. The lady must have imagined it.
I need to ask you some questions about Monsieur Ratchet's death.
But of course, Mademoiselle Marceau. I will do anything I can.
Why did this not come up earlier?
When was the body discovered?
The valet of Monsieur Rachet, he tapped several times at the door this morning. There was no answer. Then, half an hour ago, Lucien, the waiter, came. He wanted to know if Monsieur was taking déjeuner. It was 11 o'clock, you comprehend.
Continue.
I opened the door for him with my pass key. But there is a chain, too, and that is fastened. There is no answer, and it is very still in there, and so cold. The window open, I borrow the engineer's hammer, and break the chain, and go in. Monsieur Rachet was... oh, it was terrible. The chain was fastened. It must have been suicide?
I'm sorry,
Sweetie,
Michelle.
honey, no.
A person does not commit suicide by stabbing himself 12 times.
He ran into my knife. He ran into my knife 10 times.
Did anyone call for you last night after we spoke?
Yes, I made up the bed of the young American gentleman, Mr. Rachet's secretary.
Yep.
At what time?
Oh, I was almost going to do that number
about a
this
half hour
February for my show, and I didn't.
1:45.
I just couldn't get, you know, it's one thing lip syncing to a song. It's another thing trying to lip sync to
the American gentleman's bed.
a speech. It's much harder to feel the cadence.
Did you see anyone moving about last night after we spoke?
The English colonel returned to his
It would have been really cool, honestly. It really would have been. Also, then you've got the Russian part in the middle. Just straight up end me.
At any time
I think it's
last
Russian.
night after Belgrade?
Well, I did go back to talk to Matteo, the attendant in the Athens-Paris car.
When was that?
Not long after 1.
Still need to post
How
those
long were
videos.
you gone?
A few minutes only.
It was like, I got them. I was like, I'll post these in March when I'm not busy anymore, and then depression. So,
I would like to take your finger.
and then it's just like, oh, there wasn't a good time once I kind of got out of that funk, because everything was bad. And now it's like, oh, I gotta get around to doing it. It's been so long.
Successfully and soon.
Okay, so whose stuff is still here? I don't know who Lucien is.
You did not expect to see me again so soon, did you? I
Why are you still here?
Your fingerprints.
I guess it's okay.
Thank you, Monsieur Hartman.
Bad fucking detective.
I would like to take your fingerprints.
What is that you say?
Really?
I protest. I have nothing to do with this crime.
Everyone must be fingerprinted.
Refuse? No, no, of course not. Let's get it over with.